All right, next part of the story. A couple housekeeping things. I'm going to be uploading all of this into the playlist that's like my escape or my story or whatever, so that way I never have to tell the story again, because whenever I tell it, I get distracted and like sidetracked, and I never tell it all the way through, and so I'm just trying to do it so I never have to say it again. Also, if you want the algorithm to bring you back, I don't care what comment you leave, but if you leave laughing emojis, I will block you. That may seem petty, but I simply cannot see laughing emojis on some of the worst experience of my life, okay? So they had taken him. I thought they took him for stealing money from the government because that's what they told me he was doing. Well, no. They actually took him in for Grand Theft Auto. And I was like, Grand Theft Auto when? And they were like, Grand Theft Auto out of California in 2012. Well, we had already been together for 2 years at that point. How is he stealing a car? And I don't even know he's stealing a car. I don't understand what's happening. I was like, what car? What are you talking about? Like, the only car that he had was the car that he already owned in Arizona. Like, and he had his car that we drove. Like, there's two cars. When did he steal a car in 2012? Like, I didn't understand. So his mom is making sure that I'm staying in the house with my kids and that I'm not doing anything. My friends are trying to, like, my friend and and all the people from church are trying to like make sure me and the kids are okay. His aunt comes over, and she lives in the most beautiful community in Las Vegas. Her husband's a doctor. She comes over and she says, I cannot believe they took him. There was just always something about him. I don't know. And I was like, it's your nephew. What are you even talking? What do you mean? And she was like, you don't have anything? I was like, I don't have $5. She gives me $20, $20 or $40, and says that she'll buy food for the dogs. Like, that's it. Other than that, I'm on my own. So his mom says she's going to bail him out. In the meantime, the Attorney General's office investigator comes to my house a couple days in, or like the next day, with my boy's tablets. And he comes to the front door and he has the tablets, and he looks around and he was like, Andrea, are you here because you want to be here? And I was like, yeah, I'm here because I'm here. Like, he's such a good husband. He's like, I know. Have you ever thought about like not being here? And I was like, no, like I don't even know why you guys have him. It doesn't make any sense. And he's like, okay. And so I think he knew what was going on, and he was trying very hard to be as kind as humanly possible. But it was a very difficult time. And so I'm just trying to get through. My husband's calling me constantly from jail and telling me that I better stay where I am. And he's telling our kids that he's an astronaut and that he's gone to space. And I was like, what is happening? So he's telling them that he's an astronaut and he's in space with NASA. And my kids are like, he's an astronaut? And I'm like, no, like, I started to be like, this isn't okay. And like, I knew in my head that I had prayed for a way out for years. Like, I had been in a ball crying on the floor while he was up all night long raging, and I would pray for a way out. But for some reason, when it came, it didn't feel like a way out. It felt like I was still trapped. It felt like he still owned me. And so I didn't know like who to pay our rent to. I didn't know who to pay a car payment to. I didn't know who to do anything to. So I kept calling him, and he kept saying that there was none of my business. So they had two people from the church come to my house, and these two guys were friends with my husband, and they were like, okay, maybe if you go see him in jail, maybe if we do this, maybe if we do that, we can help you figure out how to pay your bills, and we can figure everything out. So they tell me I have to go visit him in jail. I make an appointment to go visit this man in jail, and it is a phone call. The Las Vegas jails are phone calls. You don't see him face to face. So I pick up the phone when I get to the jail, and it's him, and I was like, hey, I need to know who I pay this to, who I do what to. And he is like dodging questions, dodging them. And I'm like, I have to be able to pay the rent. I have to be able to do this. I have to be able to do that. He finally gives me a name and says, try to figure it out on your own of how to pay rent. He didn't tell me how to pay utilities. He didn't tell me like nothing. I didn't know how to do anything. So I was like, I came back and I told the guys from the church what he said. And they contacted this man, and this man, our landlord, was fucking floored because my husband did not tell him that he had a wife. He had lied and said that it was just him and his kids and pretended like I didn't exist. Again, he wanted no trace of me in case he ever did get caught and he had done something to me. He wanted it to be like I didn't even exist. I'm gonna have to make another part, guys. I gotta take a kiddo to the to the urgent care. He's pretty sick, but I'll be back later.